This despicable German soldier was planning to engage in debauchery with a beautiful girl, but before he could show off his 17 centimeters nightingales, he was suddenly ambushed from behind and fell unconscious, after which the soldier was blinded. He covered his mouth with both hands and feet and then rode his motorbike towards his base. Not knowing what was going on, he ordered his subordinates to open the fried piece, but who knew it was the detonator for the hidden bomb in the car. The whole Nazi army calmed down and immediately turned out that they were guarding a secret base where scientists were carrying out horrifying and inhumane experiment that would transform the animals. The injured soldier loses the ability to fight and become a zombie with absolute power on the battlefield. How can Allied soldiers stop this evil plot? Please join me in watching this super cool movie. Hey! A few days ago, a group of us paratroopers received the mission to destroy the radio station of the Germans Nazis and at the same time ensure the safety of 120,000 soldiers fighting on the ground very quickly with the plane carrying them. The soldier flashed across the sky over France where the Germans' military base was located. They were first greeted by a heavy rain of enemy bomb and bullets. As a result, almost all of them had not yet reached the parachute point. All of the planes were destroyed. The male protagonist boy's plane was also riddled with holes like a honeycomb, causing many people to die. If they didn't parachute in time, the entire team would probably be gone at this moment. 1 rocket per hour suddenly rushed forward and hit the tail of the plane. Almost all the soldiers died on the spot. Thanks to the help of their comrades, Boy successfully jumped out of the plane, but because the situation was so urgent, the parachute broke, made it extremely difficult for him to open it, then fell into the water and was pressed around by the parachute, almost suffocating Boys. Luckily, he promptly put away all the parachute ropes and rose to the surface of the water. Unexpectedly, he was able to crawl up. The boy's side was attacked by the Germans' army, so he had to hide in the nearby forest to take refuge because he was currently in the territory of the Xia army, so the possibility of being captured was very high. The male lead captain was unfortunately attacked by a group of soldiers. The Germans discovered and captured the boys who were about to pull out their guns to rescue them when suddenly they were stopped in time. The two of them just witnessed with their own eyes the scene of their captain being brutally killed, a key soldier in the mission. This time, he knew that destroying the radio station was the most important mission. If just because he wanted to save the captain's life, the mission failed, then the Allies would suffer huge losses 2 years later. He met 3 other teammates who were still alive. They formed a group of 5 people and continued to move towards the radio station, but not long before one of them accidentally stepped on a loud explosion, causing Boys thought he had returned to the Tay Tien region. Fortunately, he was only shocked, but his teammates had become minced meat, so the 4 of them could only use daggers to detect mines ahead. After a hard time at the end, they finally got through the dangerous area when the 4 of them entered a forest and accidentally discovered an unusual animal's carcass. It was an animal they had never seen before. The group was guessing who it was. Suddenly, a French girl appeared in the forest. They quickly chased her and controlled her. Boys knew a little French, so they stood up to communicate. After talking, they learned that Chloe was from the village nearby. She wanted to take advantage of the time it was still dark to pick up some valuables left by the soldiers. Chloe hated the Germans very much. At the same time, she also agreed to take the main male group to the village after confirming that they were American soldier. Chloe also silently took to her home outside. The Germans' patrol was hunting them down and the church in the distance was the base of the Nazi army radio station that the 4 of them needed to destroy. It's also inside, but there are many soldiers guarding it 24/24, and they only have 4 people. This mission is almost to the point of death. To ensure the success of the plan, Ko ordered Tipbet and Che to go to the gathering place to see if of their teammates were still alive. Anyway, the more people there are, the better. But not long after the 2 of them left, the Warner officer came knocking on Chloe Boy's door, and for quickly hid in the basement. Then Chloe opened the door to let him in. Apparently, this Captain Afton came here to shovel 9 tons of coal into the damaged furnace. Through the gap, the 2 of them could observe everything. When the Warner was about to play tricks on Chloe, there was a gun pointed at his head from behind to complete the mission. Had to knock the Warner unconscious, and then stop him and at the same time order the boys to find the 2 before being discovered by the Germans' army. Boys quickly overcome the patrol team to go to the enemy base, but the scene in front of him made him surprised that the German soldier were transporting dead bags to the side. However, these corpses no longer had human shape. Some of them were still alive, but they were still destroyed by the German army. Boys knew he should not stay here for long, so he hastily left there and continued his journey to find his unlucky comrades on the Sot Main Street. Unfortunately, he was chased by a jackass. Having no other choice, he had to board an unexpected German truck. That the trunk of the car was full of corpses of his comrades. And even more unexpected was that the destination of this car was the base of the German army. When they were still transporting corpses, Boy secretly climbed out of the car, then he went under, entering the enemy base deep inside. He was horrified to discover that this place was the location where the German army carried out experiment and that the corpses just now were their experimental subject. With many plastic tubes being used, connected to a bag, a mysterious liquid was being distilled. Boys were looking intently when suddenly the bag moved. He was curious. and opened the bag to see. Unexpectedly, it contained a living human body, but the face was already gone, was destroyed. At this time, someone came to the laboratory. Boys hurriedly found a place to hide and accidentally went to another laboratory. The red liquid inside the syringe was exactly the same as the liquid he had seen just now. Turning around, the boys discovered another of his teammates lying on a hospital bed with many black plastic tubes stuck in his body. If he wanted to save his teammates, he had to pull these plastic tubes out throughout the process. Extremely painful. Ondio helped his friend find the exit. In the end, he decided that the two of them also found a drainage way to get out. By this time, Tipbet and Che had returned to Chloe's house. Boys also helped his teammates back to the place they remembered. He still couldn't help but feel scared about what he had just seen a moment ago. Then he told everyone the whole story to show that the German army was definitely hiding a shocking secret, so he took the syringe and went to question Officer Warner. But no matter how much he tortured him, that guy still refused to confess that he was so helpless that he had no choice but to give up and start doing it. The battle plan also ordered the CH to escort Officer Warner on his way, but when he went down to tunnel, he discovered that he did not react at all. He thought that the enemy had fooled him, so he cut the rope to release him. Unexpectedly, it was all a fire shot. When he wasn't paying attention, Warner counterattacked, grabbed the gun from his hand, then pulled the trigger frantically. Hearing the sound of gunfire, Boys and his teammates rushed upstairs and quickly controlled it. The officer was seriously injured. Not long after, he also died in a situation where the Cup Boys had inserted a syringe into his body. Infuriatingly, everyone thought that how could a dead person come back to life, but it was true. At this moment, he suddenly sat up, making them all extremely surprised. He tried to touch the wound but didn't feel anything. Looks like this red liquid can not only bring people back from the dead, so he still felt that his body was extremely healthy. Then he felt hot and uncomfortable inside. Just hitting his head lightly, a pillar would break. At this moment, he completely transformed into a different person. After that, Che didn't say a word, but went to strangle Boys for and wanted to rush in to stop him, but unexpectedly he used one hand to push him into the corner of the wall. Knowing that Chow was no longer the teammates he used to be, so forth he pulled out his gun and shot repeatedly at the vegetarian. At this time, everyone did not know that the gunshot had attacked the attention of the German army. Officer Warner, who was not paying attention and sneaked out, even kidnapped Chloe's son as a hostage. By the time they found out, this fascist quickly climbed into the escape car and returned to the Warner laboratory, ignoring the scientist's objections. The red serum needed was inserted into my thigh. I saw that one tube wasn't enough. He added another tube very quickly. He also showed strange expression. On the other side, the 5 male lead also started to act. They using the beauty plan to dry a donkey. He caught a German soldier, then put him on his motorbike so he could drive himself back to the barracks. The guard guarding the gate immediately told him to stop. Then the captain ordered his subordinates to remove the bandage. The glue that was covering his mouth just came out. They ate the cage, guys, so the whole group German soldier were immediately roasted by the fire. Hearing the explosion, the rest of the base immediately opened the door to see. Who would have thought that Tipbet and Henry had died? The uniform from before started shooting to destroy the enemies, but there were too many of them, so the two of them had to temporarily retreat at the same time. Boys and Chloe broke into the base through the pipeline last time. The male lead took the beauty to the laboratory. Sure enough, her son was dizzy in the hospital bed. Chloe quickly rescued him. However, Boys had another important mission, so he told her to go first, and then mother and son could easily get in. Inside the drainage pipe, who would have thought that before she could leave, Chloe was grabbed by a zombie and dragged out to help her son escape. Without hesitation, she shot at the zombie, but the ammunition had no effect. With it, she could only run away and lure it outside while moving. Chloe saw a fire thrower. Your life was at a standstill for her. Then the zombie happily approached and was immediately roasted, turned into charcoal. It seems that fire is effective against these zombies. On the other hand, For had just finished installing the bomb when he was attacked by a Warner officer. At this time, he had completely turned into a zombie, so For was not his opponent for just a few minutes. Seconds later, he was knocked to the ground and had no strength to fight back. Warner hung him on a hook. This almost caused For to meet his ancestors when he was about to inject him with the zombie virus. When boys arrived in time, Nam Chin Duong gun shot continuously at him, but with just these few bullets. It was like a mosquito biting an electric pole. Boys were beaten by him like he couldn't be crushed. Next, the Warner came and opened the corpse compartment, then released all the zombie. When he went out, he saw that the boy was about to be drowned and accepted to turn into a zombie. He immediately ran to attack him from behind. Two zombies immediately rushed into a fierce battle, but unexpectedly, the Warner was strong, much more than For could have imagined. He was constantly knocked down by him. Fortunately, boys took the opportunity of Warner not paying attention and shot straight at the gas tank to destroy him, then axed teammates out of the base, but For had no intending to leave here. He quickly locked boys outside and locked the door knowing he was about to lose consciousness. Furthermore, once this experiment was spared outside, It would be a great threat to the human world because so he plans to join the zombie in this base indefinitely and wait after the boys leave to calmly activate the bomb in his hand. The Big Bang create a domino effect that cause all the remaining bomb to also explode. After the male protagonist used all his strength to run out of the enemy base, he and his teammates finally completed the mission of destroying the castle station, thus helping the Allies' army win a great victory over the hordes, fascist at the French front. This is the end of the movie. Hello and see you again everyone, bye bye.